Welcome back to No Man's Sky, everyone. Jason here, and this is our beginner series for 2025. In the last episode, we kind of went around an outlaw station, a pirate station. We also landed, and we found a crashed ship that we are going to be using. So, heck yes. Now, our next objective is to install our advanced mining laser. However, we don't have any wiring loom. And just like I told you in the last episode, wiring loom can either be bought at a space station, or if you break some technologies, you can get one. But I like all my upgrades, so I don't want to break any of my upgrades. So let's head off into the space station, but we might run into something along the way. So let's take off and go. I need to search for clues about Artemis. So as we get up into space, we get a call. What's going on here? Unknown frequency. Artemis entity, we received your signal. Is it first? Is it last? Who the heck is this? Time for truth. You have their signal, but you are not Artemis entity. No, I literally just found their ship. What the heck? Your signal is familiar to Nada. We have been in contact before, I think. This would be a good time to come aboard, yes? A proper introduction to our home. I guess, yeah, and then they come in. So this is the space anomaly. It is a special location that is going to be very important, especially if you play in multiplayer. So, as a general rule, if you want multiplayer turned on, go into your pause menu, go to your options, and when you pick network, you can choose any of this, right? You can turn on and off multiplayer. So if I enable it, if I go to the space anomaly, I will start seeing other players. And as you're walking around in the world, like, there are billion kajillion planets, so it's very hard to run into people on planets. However, in the space anomaly, everyone's coming in and out. They're getting their multiplayer missions. They're doing all of that kind of stuff. So you will see them here. However, this is the introduction tutorial, so we're not going to see anyone yet. So let's get out. And this is the space anomaly. It is like a multiplayer hub. You could do this solo. You don't have to have multiplayer turned on. However, if you don't have multiplayer turned on, you will not see anyone. Notice, it's all just empty. There's landing pads all over the place. Oh, there we go. People are coming in. So that is what you will run into. So it's not a big deal, but if you want to see other people or play with other people, you'll want to turn on your multiplayer. So we need to go talk to Polo and Nada up here. So let's run up here. And we'll take a tour of the space anomaly right after we talk to these guys, because it's a part of your tutorial. So here we are, Priest Entity Nada. He's the one who called us. I am Priest Entity Nada, Divergent Korvax. Welcome to our anomaly. Our home here is pleasant, yes? Polo's own design, a perfect bubble. Beyond the Sentinels, beyond vengeful Korvax. Nada wishes or watches time come and go. What about Artemis? A traveler entity. Perhaps they are known to you. I do not know their number. Nada does not care to think about iterations as numbers. They were lost to us. Highly improbable. Our anomaly is lost to the Sentinels, but none should be lost to the anomaly. The Korvax watches me. There is a patience, an organic tilt to the way they hold their metal shell. All right, well, what about you, Nada? What are you? Nada awoke with the death of the Korvax Prime. Could not understand why such things happen. Why we are alone. Now I am divergent. The convergence do not see through my eyes. Nada is not alone anymore. Nada is with Polo Friend. Now many other friends visit. Our convergence is small, but Nada is happy. Nada's carapace pulses with a gentle light. There is something familiar about them. Well, what is Polo you keep talking about? Polo Friend found Nada. Found my signal. Nada is safe. Now, Nada finds other signals, makes others safe. This station has been calling to me since I awoke on the planet. Perhaps it called to Artemis as well. But what about the station? Yeah, this big old station. Beyond what is outside, our anomaly wanders free. Free like nada, to observe, to search. The Sentinels, the Atlas, they do not care for this place. I feel their eyes hunting us. Nada watches me, judging my reactions as they speak. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. Speak with Polo, friend traveler. Perhaps they might know more about missing Artemis. They perceive things more clearly than Nada. So this is Nada. He is a Korvax. So the Korvax are a robotic alien race in No Man's Sky, and they are like a collective, so they're all joined together. Every once in a while you run into a Korvax that is separated, so they don't talk with the convergence, is what they call it, the hive mind. And so Nada is one of those Korvax that are separated. And we'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about, or when we start finding out more about the different races in No Man's Sky. Specialist Polo! Friends everywhere, if only you know where to look. Friends in all shapes, all sizes, and all places. Artemis friend, you are where they should be. Does not seem possible. But all things are possible. Such is the universe. We will find them, no doubt. There's always a signal, always a trace. Well, what the heck are you talking about? How are we going to find Artemis? Our home will see it. Or our home will see to it. When you leave, you will not be where you were. You will be closer. Or maybe not. Discovery is exciting, yes. Okay, he likes to just throw you off like, wait a minute, what? Oh, no, never mind. He's just being crazy because Polo is awesome. Polo is the best character in No Man's Sky. Before you leave, perhaps spend some time with our other friends. We all help each other here. So now we take a tour of the space anomaly. They want us to walk around and interact with other characters and kind of see what's going on. So the first thing I would say is definitely go back to this hallway here, and we're going to take a right. The farthest back area is the most important. However, we're going to get there eventually. We want to go to the right, down this hallway. And this is like the greeting area. There's like chairs and stuff around here. But over here at this desk, towards the front where the landing pad is, will be Helios. He's really, really cool. Iteration Helios. He's another traveler. Ah, young one. You who still roam the boundaries of this universe. How I envy you. My time out in reality has long passed, but I do miss it. Perhaps you might help an old soul and share the things you've seen. If only I could once again sense the creatures we share our lives with. So, if you come back to the anomaly every day, every like real life day, he will want something new. So he'll ask for data on creatures. Any creature you scan, you can give to him, and he will give you a reward back. The more creatures you do, the higher the reward. But then, like tomorrow, he might be asking for mineral data. So any rocks you were scanning, and then it'll be, hey, any planets you've scanned, any plants like vegetation you've scanned. It will change every day, and so you can always come back and get a little bit of a reward every time you do. I'm going to give him my creature scans. Thank you, little one. You have no idea what this means to me. Please, take these nanites. They are nothing, but they are all I have now. So there you are. He gives you a reward every time you do that. But the more important one over here is Ares. So Ares is another traveler, and they sell upgrades, but they will also reward you for your milestones. Remember, I think it was in episode 3 or 4, we talked about our milestones. If you press pause, go to your discovery tab, or sorry, excuse me, your cataloging guide. Your journey milestones are at the bottom left. And if you pick one, as you increase these milestones, it basically increases your knowledge of No Man's Sky, and you can get paid for it. Also, later on, we will run into what's called the Atlas. And the Atlas missions are linked to your overall score. So my overall milestone score is 14. I need to get this higher and higher because the higher it goes, the more of the advanced missions I can get into with the Atlas. And so and this is all going to be stuff you do in the game. So as you progress, as you play the game, you will increase all of these stats. You know, like learning different words, talking to different aliens, Exploring on foot as you walk around, you will increase that. Trading, we've already maxed that one out. But, like destroying pirates, destroying sentinels. As you progress the game, you will increase these just naturally through playing the game. And as you do that, you want to come back to Ares because Ares will give you rewards based on your milestone data. Traveler hopes to make progress. Traveler tests themselves. I will help. Exchange progress for progress. Or wealth, perhaps. Experience or materials, both valid. Today, storm crystals. So, not only, Ares is very, very important. You can transmit your milestone data, so every time you increase your milestone level, they will give you a reward. But every day, just like with Helios, every day they will ask for a different item. So today it's storm crystals. Tomorrow, it might be metal plating, or it might be larval cores. It might be anything. They will ask for random items every single day. And if you give it to them, they will pay you in nanites. Now, I will say I never generally use this simply because storm crystals are worth a lot of money. I would rather sell them for money than turn it into Ares for nanites, because Ares will give you 10 or 20 nanites. Not really worth the amount for most items. Every once in a while there's an item that's really cheap, and you're like, oh, okay, this is way more beneficial. But I would say 80% of the time, the item that Ares is asking for is way more valuable for you to sell it or to use it yourself. Anyway, Ares also gives you upgrades, or allows you to purchase upgrades. A basic selection only. Seeks the space station for grand selection. So, essentially what Ares is saying is, look, I have every upgrade, but they're all going to be very low level upgrades. If you want the good stuff, go to a space station. And as you can see, look, it's all C levels, B levels. You're not going to see anything above a B. It's all very low level stuff. So, but he has everything. Look at that. There's so many freaking upgrades here. It's crazy. So if you need something basic, you just want an upgrade, awesome. I will say, I use this as my rare item collection. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if you have, like in the last episode, or in the beginning of this one, we talked about how if you destroy a technology, you will get rare materials. In this case, if I destroy this shield, I will get sodium, 50 sodium, 1 ion battery, and 1 wiring loom. That is key. Because if you buy a really cheap item, like for instance, wiring loom cost about 100,000, I think. 100,000 credits. Or if you buy a really cheap upgrade for nanites, you can just destroy it and get that material, that wiring loom, for free, or for how much you spent on the upgrade. So theoretically, I could buy a pulse engine module for 77 nanites, destroy it, and get a wiring loom out of it, and I'll make a whole bunch. It's basically saving me money. So that's what you would use this for. That's what I generally use this for, because the upgrades are so low level, it doesn't really matter. I'd rather go to a space station and get a good upgrade. But you can if you need to. If you want to, you can just say, hey, look, I'll get a hyperdrive or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's talk to Ares again, because we can transmit our milestone data. So let's do that. We're going to get a lot of nanites for this. So I just transmitted my milestone data, and I got 700 nanites. Look at that. That's crazy good. So that's an amazing amount of nanites just for doing nothing. But we also have, right next to Ares, there is Cronus. He is the chef on the space anomaly. So Cronus, if you have any food on you, you can give it to him and he will judge it and pay you accordingly if you've created any food. You can give him basic stuff, but he's going to give you really low levels of nanites. Offer me your work, and I shall offer you my opinions. I promise I shall be honest. I do not promise you will be pleased. So if you have any food in your inventory, you can give it to him. It'll populate this page. All right now I have is wheat. So if I give it to him, that wheat is just the basic plant I picked up. Let's see if I picked it right. I do not believe anything more unpleasant has ever passed my lips. How did you ruin haploid wheat so? And so I got nothing. He didn't like it. But This is all randomized. I will tell you that. That's the secret. Because there's no good or bad way to cook food. You just cook food. And so it's random. You can give them the same thing. Like I have the same exact wheat. If I give it to him now. I do not believe anything more unpleasant. Oh my God, he is really upset with my wheat. All right. So it might be just the wheat itself because it's very basic. Well, do not simply stand there. Do I look as if I have the time to waste? Show me what you have. All right, here's my wheat again. I do not believe anything more unpleasant. Okay, fine. He just does not like wheat. Fine. You don't want any fiber in your diet? That's not my fault, Cronus. When you're on the toilet, just don't even bother, man. All right. Anyway, right next to Cronus is the egg sequencer. So as we get deeper into the game, you can actually recruit animals as pets. So if you feed an animal, you can actually make it into your pet. And pets, you know, animals that are pets under your control, they call them companions. Any companion that is in a good mood, like if you feed them, you pet them, you care for them, they will lay an egg. And then you can pick the egg up here from your pet, and you can actually, you put your egg in on top, and then you can actually make it, you know, more happy, more sad. The gene splitter, you can change the color of it, the size of it, the neural calibrator. So that's going to be how aggressive it is, how nice it is. You can change a whole bunch of it here and make a whole different thing. It's pretty awesome, but it will always be modified by what it is at the core. So if it's a very large animal and you put a growth hormone to make it larger, it'll get even bigger. If you put it to be smaller, it'll get smaller from that original size. So it's not going to be a random like, oh, now all of a sudden it's gigantic. It might take a couple of times to, you know, get an egg, genetically modify it, and then let that animal grow up to be an adult. Make sure to take care of it, feed it, pet it, and then it will have an egg, and then you can just do it again. So you might need multiple generations to get a super giant animal or a very, very tiny animal. So depending on what you want to do, it's very, very cool. And all this stuff takes is your like random items. So if I put silver in here, nothing happens. If I put carbon in here, nothing happens because I don't have an egg. But you will see, like once I have an egg to put in here, if you put like carbon in here, it'll tell you, hey, it's going to be larger or smaller or whatever it is. So just keep that in mind. And then, as always, there is an appearance modifier, so you can adjust your appearance. Just like every other appearance modifier, there's nothing special about this one. So we can move on. And then we have a couple of other travelers over here. Let's talk to them. I forgot. Oh, Gemini and Hesperus. All right. So these are just generic travelers that are here. Gemini. Hello. Have we met? I don't believe so. I'm Gemini, and this is Hesperus. What about you, Gemini? What's your deal? Me? I'm just staying here for just a little while. Polo and Nada are very kind to all their friends. Gemini glances toward the being at their side, their golden eyes contemplative. If it weren't for Hesperus, I'd probably still be alone out there, drifting from world to world. Entire galaxies to discover and no one to share it with. I've never found genuine company in others, even the Gex, for all their talk of friendship. They all seem to want something. Hesperus is different. They've been a true companion to me. It was a pleasure meeting you. Say hello if you pass through again. We'll be right here, more than likely. So yeah, they don't walk around. These guys don't walk around. Hesperus. He's looking like an owl. I like a Hesperus. Look at that mustache he has. Salutations! The sharp-eyed being stares at me, unblinking. They tell me their name, Hesperus, but rush through the words as though nuisanced by the introduction. Their focus is on me. Tell me, stranger, who exactly are you? A wanderer? A traveler? I don't know. Hesperus exhales audibly. Perhaps you have not yet heard the call. It will become irresistible eventually. You begin to hear it in your dreams, in your heartbeat, even afterwards. There is a sudden movement from their life form stood at Hesperus' side. Hesperus clears their throat. I believe we tread parallel paths, you and I. and yet quite impossibly we have met. Let us not make this our only encounter. All right, Hesperus, I'll come back. So yeah, there's going to be different kinds of, or different types of traders and travelers on the space anomaly, which is awesome. Now let's go to the most important part of the anomaly. If you take a right, all the way in the back, this is the anomaly market, and it is freaking awesome. This is where you can buy everything you'll ever need in No Man's Sky, but it's going to cost you. And depending on what you want to buy, it's going to cost you either the buried technology if you want to build up your base, nanites if you want to build like any special blueprints. So let's start on the left. This one right here, this is your spaceship marketplace right here. If you talk to Hyperion, they will tell you all that stuff. Wings of gold and glory, friend. There is no end to the stars. So let's research upgrades for our starship. And so here is your tree. So you have to follow along on the tree. You can't skip to the bottom, meaning if I want this upgrade, the cargo scanner, I can't get it until I upgrade or until I unlock the tree branches above it. So keep that in mind. You have to go through all these items before you can get to the bottom. However, I will say up front, you will earn a majority of these if you just complete the storyline. If you want them right now, you can totally buy it right now. However, if you want to save your money, you want to save your cash, just complete the storyline. It's going to take you some hours, but when you do, you'll have a majority of these unlocked. They will just be unlocked for you as you progress. So, I mean, this is where you can get like engine upgrades. You can get hyperdrive upgrades. So these are like to go to different stars, more advanced areas. Your launch thruster upgrades, your shield upgrades, and then you have weapons over here on the right. So you start off with the photon cannon, but you can get rockets, phase beams, positron ejector, which is like a shotgun, a infraknife, which is like a machine gun, a cyclotron ballista, which is like a big rocket, like a big fat rocket. It's pretty awesome. Those are all your different upgrades here, all the different technology here. So that is your starship merchant right there. But in the center, you see this is a base construction research unit. But it's not like the one you can build on your own. You build a very basic one. If you come here, look at this. We have pages and pages and pages of stuff. So you have your prefab page, which is all your prefabricated stuff. A big old room automatically. A corridor, which is like a hallway. All this stuff. But I mean, there are pages. Small prefabs, technology, so all the different technology you can build at your base. Transport module, so this is for your Exocraft. Aquatic construction, so underwater buildings. Decals that you can put on the side of your buildings. Posters that you can put inside to decorate. Decorative modules, so we have like screens and different items like an octa cabinet. Things like that, different screens, different storage panels. Then we have decorative chairs. So we have chairs here, we have tables, all this kind of stuff. There are hundreds and hundreds of items. You could go through all this stuff. Like just go up page after page after page. I have illumination, which is all your lights. Industrial stuff, so if you want to start farming stuff. Agricultural, for farming actual plants. Timber, so any wooden structures, like walls and ceilings and stuff. Timber roofing. Stone structures, so stone walls and, stone roofing. Alloy, which is like your metallic items. It is crazy. Alloy roofing. Primitive shapes. Storage units. There you go. So any kind of storage you want to put in your space, your base. Large prefabs, all this stuff. It's crazy. So there are hundreds of them. It's awesome. But you're going to need buried technology. Remember, you need buried technology. I have 0. So it doesn't take nanites, it takes buried technology to unlock your base building parts. And then we have Celine. She is going to be your exosuit specialist. And you'll see right next to her, this is a good upgrade right here. Just like on the space stations, we have the backpack inventory upgrade here. You can get 1 per system. And keep in mind, you can call in the space anomaly anywhere. So you could theoretically, you get 2 upgrades per system. You get 1 at the space station and 1 at the space anomaly. This will refill every time you go into a new system. Once I buy it here, I can't get the Space Anomaly upgrade anymore. And look at that. It was 15,000 before. Now it's 30. It's doubling every single time, you guys. So keep that in mind. Let's put it down here. There we go. So yeah, I've done this one. So this system is now done for the Space Anomaly. We can't get any more. Well, let's see what kind of upgrades that Celine has. This is for your suit. Traveler entity or Traveler new. Your suit is an extension of yourself. Let me aid you. All right. So here's your tree for your upgrades for your suit. Now, this is where I will tell you it is the most important thing, and I would highly, highly recommend you break the tree here. Meaning, don't wait for them to manually give you an upgrade through the storyline. You want this as early as possible. Personal refiner, which is a backpack refiner. This is the most important upgrade in No Man's Sky, in my opinion. The most important one you can get. You will be using this constantly, all the time, from beginning to end. You will always, always be using this. So I would highly recommend, if you have the nanites, get this early. You will get it in the storyline. Don't worry about it if you don't want to spend the money, but you're going to be waiting for a few hours. I would say if you're here now, do it. Now, in order to unlock that, we need to get our Hazmat Gauntlet. This one is not as important. It's important. All of these upgrades are important, but this one's not as important as your personal refiner. So let's buy our Hazmat Gauntlet for 80 nanites. So now we have the blueprint for that. Oh, it kicked us out. Let's go talk to her again. Traveler new, your suit is an extension of yourself. Let me aid you. All right. So now that we have the Hazmat Gauntlet, we've unlocked the bottom branch of this tree. And now, I will say, if you're here, you can get an Exoskiff, which is like a boat when you go fishing. You can get a trade rocket. This is another important one because if you're on a planet and you're on foot, you can load up this trade rocket with items and sell it, and you immediately get the money. So this is another highly, highly valuable upgrade for your suit. If I had to choose between this and the backpack, I would choose the backpack refiner every single day and twice on Sunday. This is the most important upgrade ever. I'm definitely going to get this one. 360 nanites, so you need a lot. It's a heavy investment, but it's well worth it. So now we have that. So, and then if you have anything else, like if you really, really want any of this, again, you will earn a majority of these. Not every single one, but a majority of these you will earn in the storyline. So you don't need to buy any of these right now. You can if you want to get ahead of the curve and help yourself out a little bit. You have some extra nanites? Absolutely do that. I'm not going to worry about this. We also have an upgraded backpack. So again, this is a really, really useful item to have, but you don't need the upgraded, the Mark II, the second level of the backpack refiner. The first level is just fine. Right now, we're only doing basic stuff. You don't need the upgraded version yet. We can come back later and grab this. Not a big deal. So if we circle around, over here, we're going to find the Multitool merchant, EOS. So they also have a Multitool for sale always right here, and this will change depending on the system you're in. So if you don't like this one, go to a different system. Like go to another solar system, call in the Anomaly, and this will change. So for now, we have a C-class. Yeah, this one looks kind of junky. I don't like this one. I think mine's better than this. The only thing it has is it has a weapon already on it, but the inventory is very small. Yeah, I don't like this one, so we're not even going to worry about that one. But yeah, it'll change depending on the system you're in. But let's talk to EOS and see our multi-tool upgrades, all our blueprints. Yes, multi-tools? Yes, so many multi-tools. Make them better, faster, make them more. All right, he's awesome. So here's your tree. Now keep in mind, again, just like the starship, you have your upgrade area or your weapon area. So you start out with a boltcaster, but you can get like the boltcaster upgrade. You can also get a plasma launcher, which is like a grenade launcher. You get the blaze javelin, which is the worst weapon in this game. Now, that is not technically true. That is a taste, a preference factor. The blaze javelin, I do not like it. It is a perfectly fine weapon, and this is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this. It is perfectly fine. If you prefer this one, this is almost like a charged up like shot. You have to charge this up to shoot the weapon. The damage it does for the amount of time it charges is not worth it for me. So I hate this weapon. It is irritating. You can't. It also uses carbon for fuel. It's just not good, I don't think. If there's plenty of people who prefer this one, they enjoy it, and that's fine. But they're crazy. Anyway, we also have the Scatter Blaster. So this is like the shotgun in No Man's Sky. This weapon is amazing early on. So just on its own, if you just take a regular Scatter Blaster versus a regular Boltcaster, the Scatter Blaster will do more damage. It's like a shotgun. It's limited by distance, so farther away targets will take less damage, obviously. But it does the most damage from the start. As you get better and better upgrades, there are going to be other weapons that are better than it. But if you just straight up have one thing, Scatter Blaster is going to do more damage from the start. Then we have the Pulse Spitter. This is like a machine gun. It is very, very awesome. It does a lot of damage, but it goes through ammo like crazy. So keep that in mind. It's a machine gun. It's very good, but man, you're going to be using up a ton of ammo. And then we have the Neutron Cannon. This one has a charge as well, but it is so much better than the Blaze Javelin. So if you just fire it, if you just tap your trigger, it will fire one shot and it'll do 1 damage. But if you hold it down, it'll charge it up to, I think, 8 from the get-go, from the start. And then you can upgrade that, of course. But it'll charge up 8. So if you hold it down for like a second and then let it go, it'll fire off 8 shots instead of just 1. It is freaking awesome. Neutron Cannon is very, very good. It does splash damage. It's very recommended. I love this thing. It's really, really good. I prefer it. So out of all of these, my favorite weapon, if I had to choose one, is probably going to be Scatter Blaster. I love this thing. It does a lot of damage. You have to be close to your enemies. You can't shoot them off from a distance, but it does so much damage. It's crazy. My second choice would always be Boltcaster, because later on, we haven't seen it yet, but later on you get special upgrades that only affect the Boltcaster. So the Boltcaster can get more upgrades than any other weapon in the game. It's freaking awesome. It's way later on. It's more of an advanced weapon, but it's good. I love the Boltcaster. Anyway, then we also have the other side. The right side is all your technologies. So we have like our personal force field. You have a combat scope, which is like a scope you can put for your weapon. You have a cloaking device, which makes you invisible to enemies, specifically sentinels. You have the voltaic amplifier. This is going to be an upgrade to the pulse paralysis mortar. So it's basically a stun grenade. This will upgrade that. Then we also have our advanced mining laser, which we already learned. We still need to build that one. And later on, we will get the optical drill, which is a very good upgrade. It'll double the amount of resources you get when you mine. So when you're breaking up rocks and plants, you will get double resources if you have an optical drill. We also have a fishing rig. This is your fishing pole. You have to come here to get this, but it's freaking awesome. It only costs you 1 nanite. It's very cheap. I'm going to buy my fishing pole right now. I only need 1 nanite for that. And when you buy the fishing pole, it gives you all of the recipes to make your bait. I would say my big tip for that is when you go fishing, you can use regular food. You can use the hepaloid wheat. You can use all that food. However, the bait that they give you, the mealworm, spicy chum, bionic lures, all of these baits will give you more of an advantage. So you can use food. I would not recommend using normal food. Focus on your baits if you're going to go fishing. And then let's make sure we round out all the other ones. Yeah, there we go. We have our waveform. This is for our scanner, our visor. And then a survey device, which is, again, for our visor. We will get into these later on. All right, now in the center, a synthesis laboratory or laboratory. This is where you can start getting some really intense stuff. So if we open this up, it's going to take nanites, but these are the basic building blocks that we get. So you start off with like life support gel, dihydrogen jelly, nanotubes. This is all the stuff you start out with, right? But we get more advanced items, like you can make hydraulic wiring. These are all going to be needed for upgrades. If you want to build a blueprint, you're probably going to need some of these, a solar mirror, a magnetic resonator. These are all pieces that you use to build technology upgrades in your inventory, blueprints. But, also we have the Atlas passes. These are an access card for More advanced stuff later on. We're not worried about these yet, but these will unlock stuff. The one you really want is the Warp Hypercore. This is an upgraded version of the Warp Cell. The Warp Hypercore is freaking awesome, but it's way down the list. Again, you have to unlock this tree to get down there. However, this also has a second page. At the top of the screen, you see right bumper, right? Or left bumper. Now we have the way more advanced things. So these are special items that you can use for upgrades, but also tradable items that you can sell for money. So if you build a base that has a farm on it, so you're growing certain plants, you're building certain products, you use that to build these. Like I need Mordite and fungal mold. Those are two things you can grow at a farm, and you can make acid, and then you can sell acid. You can make an acid farm. But they get really, really intense. So like thermic condensate, it sells for a lot more than the acid, but you're going to need more advanced items. Sulfurine and condensed carbon. And then like the ideal thing, the thing you want to grow, and the thing that most people do is they make a stasis device farm. The stasis device farm has like multiple levels. So quantum processor, cryogenic chamber, and iridescite. These are very, very advanced items. So you're going to be making a like I think it's like a 4 or 5 stage farm in order to even get to that point. So like this, you need liquid explosives and fusion accelerant. That's over here. You know, heat capacitor, living glass, all the liquid explosives. You need this side right here, this right side. These are like the end game scenario items that you would sell, because each one of these stasis devices sells for millions of dollars. Not just thousands, millions. And so this is very, very end game stuff. Don't worry about any of this stuff. We will slowly unlock these as we play the game, but just for your future reference, that is where you're going to be making farms and things to make a lot of money in the game. But ultimately, you just want to focus on this. This is all the basic stuff. So this is the stuff you're going to need to build up your your fishing pole or some weapons for your multi-tool. Things like that, you're going to need some of these. So I would highly recommend do this page first before you move on to the advanced page, the valuable product page. These are really, really advanced. And then finally, we have the Exocraft station. So this guy, Percy's, he will sell you upgrades and items for your Exocraft. We don't even have an Exocraft yet, but you can talk to him. Look at his big old teeth. Specialist Polo is teaching me much. Crafting engines, smoothing pistons, the atomic sharpness of the finest gears, all shaped from the nanite foam. Glorious to learn their art, yes? All right. So here it is for your vehicle. So you need an engine, and then you can start upgrading like the hazard protections on certain vehicles. You can do the Humboldt drive. This is your submarine tree over here. So if you want the submarine, it's called the Humboldt. It will, or it's called the, oh God, it's not the Humboldt. It's something else. The Nautilin. But you get upgrades for that. And then we also have our Minotaur over here. So Minotaur is like the big mech in the game. You can get a big mech, and you can upgrade all of that. And these are for the vehicles. So we have like normally, the normal car-like vehicles in the game. They are all going to be on the center. So very, very awesome. We're not even there yet. So just looking at the tree, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing later on. So we're good here, but there's even more on the Space Anomaly. So if you go back up here to the right, on the, technically the left side, if you're coming from the landing pad, you're going to see the big teleporter here. And Mercury. Have you stood before a portal, stranger? Felt it leech the life from your skin? Felt your chest burning as its power starts to melt your very being? I have not. I've not seen one yet. I thought not. Few have. Fewer still live to tell of it. He's very serious. I stood before the portal at Solith Prime, but did not cross the threshold. I reached out. Only the tip of my finger grazed the gateway. The next moment, I awoke aboard the Anomaly. I was transformed. The gateway here does not have the power of the ancient monoliths, though it shares aspects of their network. Use it as you wish. I'll nod with respect, yes. Mercury returns my nod. There is much understanding in this simple gesture. So this is not a portal. This is a teleporter. So there's 2 different levels to this. These big round items like this, these are teleporters. They allow you to go back to space stations. They allow you to go to your bases, things like that. There is also a more advanced item, and it's only found on planets, and it's a huge structure, alien structure, called a portal. And that allows you to go to different planets and different galaxies. So it's way more advanced. These are just location-based in the same galaxy. So again, just like on the space station, we can open this up, and we can go to different ones. But because this is the multiplayer area, they give you multiplayer bases. So they're highlighted bases from other community members that have made some amazing things if you want to go there. So the ones with the stars, those are the community highlight. Crisscross Applesauce has a base here. Ryan has their base, so we can kind of see what it looks like. And you can always go to any one of these and just check it out and see what people are building, because there are some amazing base builders in No Man's Sky. Like, mind-blowing. I don't understand how they could do it. Crisscross Applesauce is amazing. Amazing at that. Anyway, but it's just like any other one. We can go back to our recent ones. We can go to our Space Anomaly. So the ones that are close by to the Space Anomaly. My bases, of course, and then my space stations that I have visited. Now look at that. The Space Anomaly is not limited either. So we can go to a pirate system or a normal system. Does not matter. There's no limit there. And then, if we keep going forward, we are going to find Sithis or Tithis. Iteration Tithis. Hello, bunny. A strange perfume surrounds this being. It is pleasant, if a little stale. They look startled when I address them. Oh, hello, new friend. We've not met. You know that it's traditional to introduce yourself with an exchange of units. Okay, here you go, 10 units. Thanks. Well met. Bye now. What? I'm gonna stay here. What are you doing? I just paid you for nothing? You're still here. Sorry, friend. I don't have anything to trade. I'm not gonna smell him. That's weird. I'll just stare at him. Tithis looks uncomfortable, their pulse visibly in their throat. All right, fine. Look, I admit it. I'm not a Gek. I'm just another traveler passing through. I didn't think you were a Gek. Oh, why are you here then? Tithis hesitates. Have you ever crossed paths with the Sentinels who patrol most of the worlds out there? I have. Then you know what it's like to be hunted by them. Suffice to say, the Sentinels and I had a conflict of interest, and now it's in my interest to lay low here. So he's running from the Sentinels. I love it. All right, and right next to Tithis is the Multitool decommissioning. So this is how you destroy multi-tools if you want to. Keep in mind, it only destroys your active one. So if you interact with it, it says the multi-tool waveform focuser has been selected for decommissioning. Begin salvage. No. So it will only destroy the active multi-tool. You're allowed to have, I believe, up to 6 multi-tools. Maybe higher than that. It's been a while. They've upgraded it every once in a while. You're allowed to have 6 different ones, and you can have different multi-tools for different things. Some people put different weapons on there. Some people use different stats, like one's a really good scanner, one's a good weapon, one has a lot of damage on it. Whatever you want to do, you can have multiple multi-tools. However, if you pick one up and you're like, actually, this thing is a piece of garbage, I don't like it, there's no way to get rid of it other than trading it, or if you come here to the Space Anomaly, you can decommission it, which is basically destroy it, and they will give you parts for it. They will give you the pieces of that thing that you can sell. And then we have the assembled construct. Shell can change. Shell will rot. Shell will be stolen by others. Shell will still steal another shell. Echo will endure. So this is going to become later on. This is going to be more towards the end game when we actually can talk with the assembled construct, because this is a race called the autophage. But we don't know about any of that yet. I won't want to ruin it. I don't want to spoil it, but this is another race that we run into later on. We'll talk about that later, though. So we're good. So that is most of the space anomaly. However, we have the landing area here, and there's this huge cube in the middle. If you interact with this, this is called the Nexus cube. And this is your multiplayer hub where you can do missions. So if you activate the Nexus, the terminal rejects my input. Whatever its purpose, it appears I am not yet authorized to use it. I should find and speak to the inhabitants of this station before returning. Oh no, we have to do our mission. So what do we have to do here? Make sure my mission is thing here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's the one thing I hate about this game, and it will irritate me to no end, and it's been an issue since the beginning of the game. You will start getting different missions, right? The game will only give you markers and let you progress a mission that is highlighted. So, I just bought the blueprint for the hazmat gauntlets earlier, right? It instantly changed it to build your gauntlet. I don't want this. I hate that. You can unpin it and get rid of that. Or if you want to, just change it. But it will change your mission, and you cannot progress another mission, or you can't progress any mission unless it's highlighted. Keep that in mind. So we're doing the space anomaly. Go back up here. Why are you doing this to me? So we need to visit the construction research station, which is over here, back in the marketplace. We did this earlier, but it changed my mission, so it did not count. Keep that in mind. It won't count any of your progress unless the mission is highlighted. So irritating. So we have to activate this again. This is basically the base building thing. We've checked that we're good. So now we need to go speak to Nada about Artemis and see what's going on here. Return to Nada. Nada and Polo drift between worlds and worlds. There are many. Have you seen them, traveler friend? Nada wishes they could. Nada regrets much. Well, what am I supposed to do here? Traveler entity is free to make their own path. Find Artemis entity, explore with others, travel to great sites. Proceed as you will, traveler entity. We will aid you. Others will aid you also, even if you seek the Crimson Lyre. So this is where the story basically lets you free roam. Now the tutorial is technically over. You can go do whatever you want. So you can say, hey, I want to need help with exploration, or hey, I need help with Artemis, or what is the Crimson Lyre? So it doesn't matter which one you pick here, because it will not close off, it will not end any missions. It basically just lets you choose what you want to focus on for now, and you can switch this at any time. It's not a lock-in thing. It won't exclude anything else. So let's do Artemis. Of course! Nada has a small gift for you. Perhaps it will help. Perhaps not. Nada and Polo friend will continue to search. Speak to us whenever you desire. So I just got some nanites to help me find Artemis. But that is literally just for your logs. If you press your pause menu, you go to your log. Now it's switched it over to Alone Amidst the Stars. But I can choose anything I want. So if I want to do the Space Anomaly stuff, awesome. I want to do the Atlas Pass, that's the Crimson Lyre. Awesome, we can do that as well. We can do exploration, our base computer if we want to. Install the hazmat gauntlets. So whenever you buy a blueprint, it will give you a mission to do that. It will give you a mission in your log. I hate that. It's irritating. I know, like, if you're brand new, this is very helpful, but eventually you're like, okay, I get it. I don't want to install this right now. I'll do it later on. All you have to do is go into your log, highlight the mission, and then unpin. So now it's gone. I can still make my hazmat gauntlet. It's just, it's not going to give me objectives. It's not going to give me a mission to do it. I can just do it whenever I want to. So I wish there was a setting to turn that off, because I hate it. Every time you learn a new blueprint, it'll pop it down here and you're like, oh, and it changes your mission. So you have to manually come back in here and switch it back. It's like, oh my God. All right, leave me alone. Anyway, now we're free to roam. Let's talk about the Nexus Cube. So this is the Nexus Cube. This is your multiplayer hub. So it will give you different missions. And because today is Sunday, January 5th, we have the weekend event. The weekend event only happens on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You get 3 days a week, the weekend. You know, that's why it's a weekend event. And if you do this, you get special rewards. 1,800 Quicksilver is amazing. You want to do this whenever you can. So fire it up on Saturday or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And you'll do this. You see the countdown. We have 9 hours, or around 10 hours left to get it done before Sunday is over. But then you'll see this yellow mission right here. This is your daily mission to get your Quicksilver. So Quicksilver is a very rare resource that we use to get special items. The only real way to do this is your weekend mission or your daily mission. The yellow ones are dailies. So every day you get a different mission here. And then you have your 3 basic missions that you can do in multiplayer. These are just like the bounty board on the pirate station. You can do these and they'll give you rewards. Like if I do the unusual minerals, I need to collect 825 activated cadmium, which is a rare item. If I do that and I turn it in, I will lose the cadmium, but I will get 430,000 units and a defense chip. Basically, I can call in help if the pirates attack me. That's what that is. So these are just random. These are your 3 random ones. And every once in a while, you'll see this one, this purple one. This is just a random event. It's more encrypted, so you won't know what this is until you accept the mission. There's nothing really special about these ones other than they are a unique mission that pops up every once in a while. The rewards are a little bit higher for these ones, but there's nothing really like rare or anything like unique about these missions. Other than they're encrypted, you can't tell what it is until you accept the mission. So when you select it, you can say, hey, look, I'm going to initialize. So now I'm ready. But if I have anyone else in my group, I say, hey, look, if I have 2 or 3 other friends, join me in my group, they have to be ready as well. So they have to ready up. And then we can start the mission once we do that. If you want to do it solo, you could totally do that by selecting Start Mission. And it says, hey, look, you're about to begin a challenging multiplayer mission on your own. Other travelers may join you if you wait. Are you sure you want to continue? So you can do this solo. You are allowed to do it. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because these missions are aimed at multiplayer. They assume you're going to have multiple people with you. The secret is once you get towards the end game and you have a lot of upgrades, you can do these easily solo. But if you're brand new to the game, if you've never played the game before, I would highly recommend waiting until you have a lot more upgrades. That way your character is stronger so you can take these missions on pretty easy. So there you are. And then right over here we have the expedition terminal. So if there is a current expedition active, and they're usually active, but there's every once in a while we won't have an expedition running. But if an expedition is currently active, you can come here and you can start it from any save you want. So right now we have the Liquidator expedition. It's about to end. We can select our equipment. So this allows you to bring anything you want from your save into the expedition. You will have to come back here. So think about this as like a locker. I'm going to be grabbing things to put in here. So if I want to put in any items, like, hey, I want my special passports in here. I'm putting it in this locker, and during the expedition, you need to come back to the space anomaly and come back to your locker and get these items, to claim these items. Now, keep in mind, I'm removing it from my main save and giving it to my expedition. So it takes it away from you until you finish the expedition. Then you can put it back in your locker and give it back to your character. So you can give it back and forth, but it'll be out of my regular inventory and in my expedition inventory while I'm doing the expedition. So keep that in mind. Bases and discoveries are automatically shared with your primary save. You may choose extra items to assist you. Reach this terminal during the expedition to retrieve your equipment or create a copy of your starship in Multitool. So there you go. That's how you would start up an expedition in a normal save that you have already done. You can always start a brand new fresh save and start an expedition on your own if you'd wish. And then finally, this is the Quicksilver robot. He's on the landing pad. This is where you can use your Quicksilver to buy items. So here's our huge menu. We can create exotic items from Quicksilver. Where to earn Quicksilver, we can get that. A new Quicksilver mission is available at the Nexus every day, up to a maximum of 3. Weekend events generate significantly more Quicksilver. So there you go. It kind of gives you a description of where you can get Quicksilver and how to get it. And then if you go to your create exotic items from Quicksilver, there is a ton of it here that you can. And remember that these items are shared across all of your saves. So I have a main save that I do all this work on, and I unlock all this stuff with my Quicksilver. because I do that on my main save, all my other saves have access to it. So if I go through all these pages, everything just says available because I've already unlocked it on another save. You don't have to unlock it multiple times. You don't have to, you don't have to pay to get these items. You don't have to use your Quicksilver to get all these items over and over again. Now you'll notice there is some items, and these are disposable. These are usable items. So fireworks, I can buy multiples if I wanted to. So if I wanted to buy a whole bunch of these, that's why you have to keep purchasing these, because these are usable. These are consumable items. So that's why you have those. But everything else, like if I want to get my upgraded liquidator arm for my mech, I can. It's free because I unlocked it on another save. All this stuff. And also at the Quicksilver robot, expedition rewards are here. So if you've ever completed an expedition with your profile, it unlocks all the rewards for every other save. So I can go back through every expedition. Expedition 1, the first one, to get my golden vector or whatever. You can do that here. It keeps track of all of that stuff for you. Again, because previously collected, because I already collected it on my other save. Because I've unlocked it on another save, it's unlocked for all of my saves. So there you go. This is where you would get all of your expedition stuff. And we are technically on expedition 17, so 16 is done. The next expedition that's brand new will be expedition 17. And then, finally, you have your Twitch rewards and your special rewards. So I have a special reward, a Starborn Phoenix, which was a unique drop they did for the Game Awards in 2024. But you can always claim that on any other save, and your Twitch rewards. So if you watch content creators on Twitch streams, like I do this every time they have Twitch drops, I think it's twice a year. Usually in the springtime and in the fall, they will do special events, special Twitch drops, where if you watch content creators, you watch their streams over on Twitch, you will earn different rewards. And so as you earn them, they will be put into this list, and you'll be able to unlock it later on. Ooh, that's a cool looking multi-tool. And so there's different stuff, like we have multi-tools, we have ships, all kinds of different rewards you will earn when you watch streams over on Twitch. And they just throw them in here, so you can just, as your list, and then you can separate, or you can organize it by hitting left and right bumper or R1 and L1. So now we have base building parts, or gestures if I want to do different emotes, or appearance if I want to do any kind of different appearance, like jetpacks, capes, starships if you want to just go after ships, you can do that as well. Multi-tools, look at that, we can organize it by everything. Companions, these are your pets that we have earned. Not owned, so everything I've not purchased yet, and then everything. Anyway, that is the Quicksilver Synthesis Companion, the Quicksilver robot we usually talk about. It's a massive, massive, awesome multiplayer arena area. And again, if you don't have your multiplayer turned on, like right now I have people running around, you can see different ships for different other players in the game. So if I run over here and look at it, this is Sig's ship right there. And you'll see people running around. You can talk with them. You can invite them to your group if you want to group up with them. You can trade items with them if you want to. So sometimes if you're just hanging out, all of a sudden someone will drop an item into your inventory, because you could just do that. Like if I wanted to give an item to this player right here. So if I want to give it to Sig right there, all I have to do is select the item, quick transfer, and right here, I can teleport it to his inventory right there. Boom. That's if I wanted to. I would say don't be a jerk. Don't give junk out, because no one wants junk. Like, don't give them a stack of 1,000 carbon. That's cool, but carbon's easy to get. If you're gonna drop off items, drop it off. Drop off the good stuff. If you're gonna do that, be cool and do that. Don't give off like rusted metal or other junk like that just to clean up your inventory. I don't know how many times I've been trying to do a Nexus Cube mission, and all of a sudden I end up with like a stack of rusted metal, and you're like, oh, well, thank you, I guess. Great. Anyway, that is the tour of the Space Anomaly. Hopefully you guys liked the episode. If you did, hit that like button. And in the next episode, we are going to continue the story, and we need to build our personal refiner, because this is the most important thing in the game. Very, very important. So I will see you guys then.